Okay, so I want you to be able to be good at two things on this Edpuzzle. Well, more than two things, but two main concepts. Pythagorean Theorem, all right, which you remember is dealing with right triangles, right? Wherever you see the right angle, wherever you see this right angle, whatever it's touching is called the leg, right? The legs. And then the opposite of the legs, the opposite of the right angle is the hypo. The formula, leg squared plus leg squared equals hypo squared. And we did various problems on Monday and Tuesday solving questions dealing with Pythagorean theorem. So here we go. If I was to give you one like this, be careful when you look at the triangle. And all right, we're going to look at this, and I'm going to give you numbers that aren't always going to be nice and neat. I'm going to say this is 12, this is 8, and this is x. Okay? First problem we're doing. You may want to have your calculator out as well. If I'm dealing with this problem, and it's asking what is x or what is the missing side. Remember, if you have two sides, you can find a third. I'm not going to show the rap video, but you remember what it is, all right? If you have two sides, you can find the third. So first step is to set this up. You know it's leg squared. And when you even write this leg, you can almost see the right angle on that L, all right? So where's your L at? Is this my L, x? Or, oh, wait a minute, my L is upside down here, but it's right here. So there's my formula. 8 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared, all right? If you want to use your flow map for this, for sure, go for it. It was the first flow map we did. But remember, these, we have to square this. This is not 8 times 2. This is not going to be 16, all right? If you need help, we can always go to the calculator and type it in. So if I go here, I'm going to move it in a little bit more, a little bigger. 8, and I'm going to hit this button, squared. And if I go back to my problem again, it was 8 squared plus 12 squared. So with this one, I can keep on going and put plus 12 squared, and I get 208. Is 208 my final answer? No. You still have to finish off this exponent. How do you go about doing that? You have to square root both sides. Go back to your calculator. Your calculator is always available for you. All right, then we're going to go ahead and square this. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit the check mark and put 208. And what do I get? We can write 14.4. That's totally fine. 14.4. Oh, I forgot. Let's make sure we post a pic of this work. All right, so if you haven't caught up yet, push pause, get caught up. I want you to post a pic of this when you're done to get full credit. All right, next one's a little different, and we're going to explain what's different about this next one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and all right, and okay, there's no values yet, but you should have a good idea where your L is. You can see the right angle, legs. Your L creates the legs. The legs are the most important part of your formula. Identify where the legs are. That's your first step. All right, when I do this, all right, now look what I have. I know where my legs are. My legs are where the L is, so I have a 6 as a leg and an X as a leg. So up here, my missing length was the hypo. But now here, my missing length is going to be a leg. So we're going to go ahead and go 6 squared plus x squared equals 14 squared. So this is going to be a little different than the way we did the calculator here. We were able to put all this in. We can't put this in. That doesn't make sense in the calculator. We can't put x squared in the calculator. That's not going to work. So let's go ahead and clear all this. I'm going to go 6 squared, which I know is 36, okay? Let me go ahead and write that down. I'm going to put 36 here. All right, this is 36. Then x squared comes down equals, what's 14 squared? That is something we have to do. So let's go ahead and clear this. I'm going to go 14 squared. And I get 196. All right, I wrote that down. I want you to see what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do now is very important that you understand you're going to deal with getting rid of this 36 and move it over here. So I'm going to subtract 36. And I'm going to have x squared equals, you know what? My computer's having a little bit of issue with the calculator. You know when you test, you're going to be using that calculator the whole time, the one I'm using right now with the decimals. But for this one, I'd like you guys to stay focused and just go ahead and use 196 minus 36. I get 160. And then remember, what's my last step here? My last step is to square root both sides. So square root of 160, and I'm going to get 12.64, 12.65 even, you could do it. I'm just going to put 12.6. If it says to round, then you round, but you just don't go ahead and do it. Look at your answers first to see if there's anything close to what your answer is, all right? And now I'm going to let you do 2 on your own. All right, here's the first one. And then all right, then I'm going to do, sorry, that was my phone. All right, and I want you guys to try these ones on your own. All right, sorry about that. So now if I was going to look at this, make sure you identify your legs. Where's the right angle? All right, where's the right angle? What creates it? What's touching the right angle? Those are your legs. So this problem would have x squared plus 11 squared equals 15 squared. This one's going to have 3 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. All right, go ahead and solve these now. Give me an answer for this guy first. If I was to do it, I get 121 and 225 and x squared. All right, first keep going. Then I would get my calculator out, which you would use the computer one during the testing. But again, my camera's having issues this week. So we're just going to lay low and just keep doing it this way. We're going to move over the 121, 225 minus 121, 104. Now I know 100 is 10. The square root of 100 is 10. Well, what's the square root of 104? It's going to be just a little more than 10. And look what I get, 10.1 or 10.2. We'll just leave it as 10.1. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and try this one out. I can do this one without the calculator until the end. I'll use the calculator at the end. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. 8 squared is 64, not 8 times 2. It's 8 times 8. Then my mustache, which doesn't look very good there. It's going to be 73 equals x squared. How do you get rid of the squared? You square it. All right, 73 squared, I'm going to get 8.5. X equals 8.5. All right, hopefully you're good with this concept. Now, let's move on to what we did on Wednesday and Thursday. This is going to go kind of quick. I want you to write down this work. Remember, when you have a problem like this, when they're multiplying the same bases, or even if it was like this, your base can also be numbers. What are you going to do? You're going to add, and don't forget the invisible 1 there. Let's go ahead and add across here. What do we get? 4 plus 1 is 5, minus 2 is 3. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay? Those are your 2 answers. All right? Now, let's go ahead and deal with division. And if I did that, I'm trying to cover all the rules so you guys have a good sense of what's going on. With division, you're going to subtract. But notice that I did it a little different. On this one, the numerator exponent's bigger. On this one, the denominator, that's a 5, is bigger. Okay? So you battle. Who wins the battle? Or you subtract. Who deals with the subtraction? 8, 4. Top is going to win, right? But 4 take away from the 8, so it's 4. Here, 2 are going to take away from the 5. So it's going to be 1 over 3 to the third. Don't forget to put that. 1 over 3 to the third. All right, now let's keep it going. All right, let's keep it going. We're going to now deal with negatives. So 3 negative 2, x, what if I said 1 over negative x negative 2? That's a little tricky. Whenever you see a negative, it must change to positive. But in order for it to change, it must flip. It has to flip sides. So this guy has to flip to the bottom because it's on the top. Technically, this is over 1 right now, but this is invisible. You don't have to put it over 1. Just like whole number fractions are always over 1. What's 5 as a fraction? 5 over 1. What's 3 to the negative 2 as a fraction? It's over 1. So we're going to take this and move it down. But when we do that, we make it positive. Is my answer done? No, you have to put a 1 on top as well. Okay? Same with this guy. You have to flip it up top. So this is actually going to become x squared, and that's it. It flips up top and it becomes positive. But let's talk about when it's dealing with more than just that. What if I had x to the negative 3 over x to the negative, oops. This is a little too much. I don't want to do too much here. Let me change this to 35. That one was a little higher level, and I did play around with that with my honors class. They still even looked at it and was like, oh, what? So I don't want that to happen. I want you guys to still be confident with this concept here. This negative cannot stay negative. What do we do with it? It has to move to the bottom. When I do that, I change it positive. Notice how I did put a multiplication here because it came down. It's no longer here. It's no longer up here. So my final answer is going to be something on the bottom, 35 and 3, add it, don't subtract it, all over 1. All right? Your last one. Let's see. What if I did something like this? A squared, b to the 4th, c negative 2, and I don't need to put the 1 there, so don't freak out on that 1. See how I left it empty here? So let's just remember that the invisible 1 is still there. How is this going to happen? What are you going to do here? You're going to tackle this with 3 different problems. This is basically 1 problem, 2 problems, 3 problems. This is higher level stuff. The first problem, if we were just to deal with this problem here, who wins the battle, the top or the bottom, and subtract it. So take away the 2 from the 5, but leave it on the bottom. So a to the 3rd stays on the bottom. You don't have to put a 1 up yet, because if there's going to be a letter up here, look at our B's. B4 is on the top, B1 is on the bottom. So the B wins, but this 1 comes up and subtracts from it. All right? C negative 2. Now I know Cleveland's class taught it this way. You would subtract it, bring the negative 2, and it would go this way. And you would have double negatives and it would become positive. I want you to think of it this way too. Just bring down the positive, add it to the 2. So it's going to be C3. And I said Cleveland, her name's Santos. My bad. All right, so do the best you can. Hopefully this Edpuzzle was a good refresher of what we've done this week. And next week will be our last full instruction week, and we're going to go into systems, the hardest stuff we've done all year. All right, get this done. Post your picture.